I guess you're kind of wondering the third guy, the other leader that I did like, what his role in all this was, and what was Spirit trying to teach me and teach him. When I was accused of these things, and then later on that they found out that I wasn't guilty of what they accused me of, it was just a good excuse to see what they wanted to have happen would happen. Leaders a lot of times are asked to do things that are really hard. Stand up for the truth, even if you don't want to, even if you don't like it. Sometimes taking a leadership role can be embarrassing. Sometimes you may be asked to eat not one plate full of crow, but you may be asked to eat 2 plates full of crow. A real leader's going to do that no matter what, because it's right. And it brings peace throughout the community. It helps everybody grow, not just one person. That's the thing about Spirit. When Spirit gets involved and you're doing ceremony, we as a human being, we may throw one rock and kill one bird, get one thing done. But when Spirit gets involved, there may be 4 or 5 birds that'll fall dead because of that one rock that was thrown. And that's just, figure of speech. When the ceremony and these camp out and stuff, when it broke up, I guess you might be asking the question, why did I go with the group that I went with? The one elder that I did like, other people didn't like how he did things, and I think some of the breakup was for political reasons. I mean, it could have been some other stuff I didn't understand or wasn't aware of, and it probably was. But I chose to go with this particular person because after the breakup happened, no matter what was said, no matter what was done, no matter who liked who or who didn't like who, he was still willing to go back and use the resources which he had, and I think money included, whether it was leftover food or tents or cooking supplies or kitchen supplies, tarps, things of that nature. He was willing to let the other camp that had split off use it. And they kind of refused to take his help. And for me, when I looked at this elder, I looked at him and I saw the kind of person, the kind of human being that I would want to be. No matter how mad I was, no matter how pissed off, no matter what was said about me by anybody else, the fact that you're still going to be there and help somebody else, all these events, all the ceremony and ritual that we get involved in, it's about the health and the well-being and the people. It's, what serves the greater good of the people, and this elder was willing to do that despite what anybody else said or did towards him. And I really respected that, and that's the reason I went with this particular camp. These 2 leaders that I had all this interaction with, I really have to hand it to them because they've been there for over 20 years. And during that time, they've had a lot of drama and conflict with other people around them, people in the reservation, people in the recovery community, people there at the campground itself. Even with all their interaction with all these people and the Tweedle Beetle battles that were going on and stuff like that, these 2 individuals kept this camp out going. They gave their time, they gave their energy, and they did it. I think there's a part of them deep down inside that knew what was going on and saw things the same way I did. It maybe not at the conscious level, but they knew that this meant something to the people. Some people came there and they had a good time, and otherwise, during a year, a lot of these people wouldn't have a good time except for that one particular event each and every year of their life where they come and see all these old friends and they share stories. So, you have to give credit where credit's due. It's not easy taking these roles in these places, and especially when ceremony's involved, and if it's a recovery camp, things are real hard. I know at this point you're probably asking, what does all this have to do with duality and non-duality consciousness? Well, when you actually go after your spiritual growth straight up, and when you're trying to make that shift from duality to non-duality, you're going to get involved with other people and you're going to be learning stuff. And the natural tendency is for people to run from their lessons. So it doesn't matter if these other people that you're involved with get the lessons or not. It only matters that you get them. And so what will happen is once you get together with a group of people to play, this grand drama, 1 or 2 people in the whole group will get it and the rest won't. What happens at that point is, because you are in duality consciousness and because most of that group grows as a herd and they are in duality, that group will split. And that's a natural part of the process, and that's okay. If you're going to be a spiritual person and you're going to go after your growth straight up, you're going to walk most of this road alone and by yourself. And every time you go and you think you found a good group to be with, you better think about it, because if you're actually doing your work, the majority of people don't want to do this work. And when the Tweedle Beetle battles and dramas and conflicts come up, the majority of the people are going to get hurt feelings. They're going to get embarrassed. They're going to tuck the tail and run. And that's just the way it is. If you're lucky enough to be in a group that's working its way from duality consciousness to non-duality, you're going to find that this group is going to be inclusive. They're, instead of having the Tweedle Beetle battles rage on and everybody split up, they may come together and sit in council, and they may ask each individual, what did you learn from all of this? What do you see? The thing about developing conscious contact with something greater than yourself, with your higher self and your subconscious mind, is that as you clear those channels and open up all this stuff, there's a third path that becomes visible out there, and it's Spirit's path. What happens is, as you do the clearing work, you get inspired. You get information from the other side. You have the epiphanies, the understanding. When I go to the East on the medicine wheel and I pray, for me in the East is clarity, vision, and understanding. This is what I need to put things back together. This is what I need to help myself heal. This is what I need to help other individuals heal. So when you start to leave duality consciousness going into non-duality, you're going to find that your groups change. The leaders that you're also drawn to will change too. Everybody will be inclusive, and they're going to work on things at a much deeper level. So I hope some of this stuff has brought you some clarity.